Good evening and welcome to the 100 Days of Shakespeare event. My name is Paul Adams and it is day 17. We are chugging along. If you aren't familiar with what this is, we are celebrating the lifetimes and work of William Shakespeare across the course of 100 days. So if that's something you're interested in digging into a little bit more, there is a link to a Facebook group in the description below where you can jump in and access all of the resources that people are sharing across this 100 days. My understanding is that link will remain open, that Facebook group will remain open after 100 days is done so that you can still access it. So I encourage you, if you're looking into Shakespeare and you're wanting to dig into some resources and find some other places as jumping off points, there is some fantastic resources being shared in that event. So I'm not sure if I said it before, but g'day, my name's Paul. I'm from Small Crown Productions and I am contributing to the 100 Days of Shakespeare event as well. So what are we talking about tonight? Let us jump into it. Tonight we are talking about... Drum roll, please. If I can get it up on the screen. Bear with me a second. It's almost there. There it is. Metaphor. So we are breaking down some of the writing structure that Shakespeare used. And so tonight we're having a very quick look at metaphor. So if this is the first video of these that you've caught, I am sharing over the 100 Days of Shakespeare a video a day. My goal is to get all 100. So this is day 17. So far so good. But what I want to do is just basically create little short bite-sized videos as launching pads for you to do some deeper research. So tonight we're just looking at the concept of metaphor and digging into that. So let's have a look at what metaphor actually means. So metaphor is a figure of speech in which a term or phrase is applied to something to which it is not literally applicable in order to suggest a resemblance, as in a mighty fortress is our God. So that is a definition from dictionary.com. So basically it's that whole sense of saying that one thing is another thing so that you can draw that comparison across. And there are many, many, many examples of this in Shakespeare's writing. So where is it from? Well, it's from for the Latin word metaphora, which means to transfer, and it was believed to be first recorded in about 1525 to 1535. And again, that reference is from dictionary.com. So let's have a look at some modern examples, some examples that we are probably familiar with in the modern vernacular. She was the black sheep of the family. So comparing one person's life to that of a black sheep amongst white sheep. So we're pretty common term we're very familiar with. A heart of stone, common term. So these are all metaphors. Let's go to some music. 'Cause baby, you're a firework. Come on, show 'em what you're worth. The infamous words of Katy Perry. I'm not singing it. And of course, David Guetta's classic, Ricochet, take your aim, fire away. You shoot me down, but I won't fall. I am titanium. So again, a metaphor there. So let's have a look at some of Shakespeare's metaphors. And these are all likely ones that you're familiar with and a couple that you probably haven't heard of, but are great examples of it. The classic Sonnet 18, we touched on that a few videos ago. I will link that up in the show card, which will be on that side, so you can pop over and have a listen to Sonnet 18 if you're not familiar with it somehow. But shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. He goes on to describe summer and comparing that person with a summer's day. Wonderful metaphor. The whole sonnet is a metaphor. Jacques in As You Like It. Oh, and how is that still spelt wrong? I just fixed that. Let's just fix that up. There we go. Sorted. Oh, it's killing me. There we go. Sorted. You'd never know it was wrong. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. So again, comparing the world to the stage and the men and women who live in the world to the actors on a stage, because we all play our parts, as he goes on to say. Now, this is Jean of Gaunt from Richard II, and this is a really amazing metaphor. So, this royal throne of kings, this sceptred isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars, this other Eden, demi-paradise, this fortress built by nature for herself against infection and the hand of war. Amazing imagery, just so good. So, you know, we're taking this idea of the image that one thing creates and comparing it to something else so that we can draw that comparison between those two things. Wonderful metaphor there. And of course, possibly one of the most famous. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. So, wonderful metaphor. Shakespeare is amazing at using it. And, you know, when you start to read through the play, you will see more and more and more of them. So keep your eyes out for those. Metaphor, it's something to really take note of. And of course, it's something that you can replicate. If you're going to write your own sonnet or write your own bit of poetry, this idea of comparing the batting of your lover's eyelid to the wing of a butterfly. The wave of emotion that comes over you when you see your sweetheart smile. All metaphor. So you can draw those comparisons between these two things. Now, we will be writing a sonnet live on one of these videos in the weeks to come. Once I've worked out exactly which day that is, I will make sure that you're aware of it ahead of time. I do encourage you to subscribe to the channel, like this video, of course, but stay tuned for when that's coming, because I will be asking for suggestions of what to write this sonnet about, and I will be writing it live. It'll take a couple of hours potentially, so you know we'll push through, but we'll be using metaphor and that whole structure of the sonnets. So stay tuned for that, because we will be putting metaphor to practice when we do that. So that's it for tonight. Bit of a touch on metaphor. We're going to look at simile and some of the other actual, like iambic pentameter, and we'll look at some of the other writing structures in a little bit more detail as we go through. So we'll look at some of those other ones and some of the verse structures and that sort of thing as well. So stay tuned. It'd be great if you liked this video. Like I said before, subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you got something out of this, share it with somebody else who will get something out of it as well, so that we can help each other out and keep paying it forward. Thanks very much. I will see you on the next one.